just want to touch here with some specific examples about a blue ocean shift. There is an abundance of them out there. A lot of them didn't read the book, didn't take the course. They just went out and they did it. But what they did, they totally changed the entire fabric of the industry they were in, sometimes even the planet when it comes down to it. Zappos. If you ever watched and studied the world of Zappos, it started with a totally crazy world. The CEO sat there, wanted to reinvent not just shoes, but corporations, about how people communicate, about how employees respond. He gave the people dealing with the individuals full autonomy to sit down there and make decisions on behalf of the customer. It actually was a brand new idea and cost Zappos a lot of money, except the people kept on coming back, coming back, coming back. They had a whole idea too that if you buy shoes from here, we'll give shoes over here. What an incredible idea. Talk about community service, about a culture. Literally, I make fun of Zappos in another class. We talk about how to have a job interview. One of the questions he says, if you're going to lead a parade through Zappos headquarters, what would be the theme of your parade? Talk about setting down a parade in the middle, and any employee can lead a parade through the middle of the corporate headquarters over something. Talk about a new culture. It's refreshing, it's exciting, it's terrifying too, all at the same time for those of us that have been in business for a long time. Zappos, it talks all about that, the concept of actually going out selling people shoes, a very personal item. So how do you sit down there and sell shoes across the internet when really shoes are a big thing? If they're the least bit off, you got to pinch in the toe, pinch in the heel. It's too big and too floppy, you send them back. What an awful thing, except they found a way to do it. They broke all the rules on shoe sales and became massively successful. They got bought up by Amazon a few years back, and now the person that sat there led it, he went off into retirement, hopefully happily, except for the fact that he ended with the tragic situation of his own making. But that being said, what an awesome concept. Wikipedia was a wacko idea, and because we all had our own and dictionaries, we all had the internet, except Wikipedia took this whole thing. They made a giant move in the world of really just about everything. And I don't know about you, I've actually quoted Wikipedia in a book that I wrote too. Wikipedia, and I attributed. I had to go back and fix it because my publisher says Wikipedia is not always accurate, but by golly, they sure have instantaneous information and knowledge as you go through the process over there. The Maestro Without Borders. Classical music was dead, and all of a sudden we have a crazy musician out there. He created classical music into a market for the masses. Talk about new creation. He took an old concept, an old stuffy hall, and turned it into something a lot of fun that people across the entire planet know, and the process you go through. Autonomous vehicles, when you see General Motors actually turning their back on petroleum-fueled vehicles, saying by the year 2035, we're going to have all electric, just so you know, the petroleum industry is the #1 product on the planet, by far, market revenue across the entire world as it comes down to it, and GM's turning their back. Not only that, they're investing massive into the giant race for autonomous vehicles. There is going to be a day when you're going to get rid of a car, or at least consider getting rid of the car in your garage, getting rid of it, and every morning at 7:20, a vehicle without a driver pulls up to your front doorstep. You bring your stuff, you go out, hop in the car, you work on the way on the way into work. You sit down there, you work all day long, and then at 3:20, because you want to leave early that day, you hop, the car pulls up to the curb, you're waiting here, you hop in, you work on the way home, and you're home, and you're home with the people you want to be with on top of that. That is going to happen. Your garage will probably end up being more of a gym than anything else, because you won't need a car. You won't need to have car insurance. You won't need to sit down and fuel a car. You don't even need to have a plug for your car, because you won't even have a car. That is the potential for this big, huge blue ocean scenario. And if you ever sit down and pull into any place by a beach, you always have to pay for parking. You got to pay a fee. It all comes from Japan and the short stay parking industry that came out of it. They went through and they changed how we do the business with Park 24. You have to have a meter. You sit down, you get a ticket, you put it in your car and everything else. If you don't do it, then you got a problem. It works really well for them. Wawa is gigantic over on the East Coast and the Midwest. It's huge. They positioned themselves from a mill and dairy farms to today to be one of the most profitable takeout restaurants in the United States. They thrived during the pandemic. Marvel was on the ropes. They're ready to go down for the count, bankrupt and everything else. And all of a sudden, they changed from being a dying company into a giant movie industry dominator with their characters. And their characters were around for decades and decades and decades. How did they do that? They used the blue ocean strategy and they changed the world from comic books into movies. They brought the characters to life, and we will probably treasure them. On top of that, there will be children named Thor for decades to come. Like, Thor, really? Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, so that being said, the Marvel way and the whole process. And then you have Salesforce. They took the CRM, customer relationship modules, and they went and they changed everything. And just so you know, the CRM module is not new, it's old. And that being said, it was on the ropes too. And all of a sudden, boom, they changed marketing in a totally different way. And Salesforce now is one of the best companies to work for on multiple different venues that print out the best companies. They have a great workforce on top of that, besides having the Salesforce. That being said, look on the aspect of what's out there for you. Is there an opportunity for you to be creative and for you to sit down and find your own part of the blue ocean? Take care.